It's a beautiful Saturday, so I've got a couple things in mind here for today. The Corvette, I need to put all the arms on, so we're gonna try and tackle all that today and get it done for the event next week. So these are the two front control arms. Obviously you can tell they're at a little bit different of a shape than the factory ones. So they have this big arch here to allow the wheel to turn in as far as possible so your wheel isn't scraping the control arm. Right now we have that issue, that's why we run the spacers on the front there. As you can see, it's poking. So this will correct that. It'll allow me to not run a spacer if I don't want to. Although it does add a bit of stability having the wider track up front. So this will allow us to also adjust the Mini Mantis kit to the furthest setting to give us the most angle possible. And besides clearance, it allows you to adjust your sway bar in the front if you're keeping your sway bar. You can move these around, adjust your shock position, and then it has heim joints both on the outer side as well as the inside, so you're not dealing with the factory, 20-year-old bushings from Chevrolet. These are super nice piece, they're very, very stout, super heavy, so you shouldn't be worried about bending them too quick or breaking them or whatever. Very, very nice product. So I got these a while ago. What these are is the lower control arm lockout kit, so that your adjustment doesn't move around when you're drifting. Pretty common issue for the C5 chassis, C6 as well, as they share pretty much the same components. What these do is they have a bunch of different positions, and depending on how you mount them up, they will move your control arm at a different spot. So these are really nice for stock control arms. If you want a little bit more toe adjustment or camber, I don't know how much camber you're really going to get, but that is a way to do it. But being as we have the complete control arm now, all that adjustment is mostly going to be within this bolt here. So we will probably set this out as aggressive as possible and then just crank it in with the lower control arm bolts just to get it exactly where we want. But this is an option from Part Shop Max. Pretty nice setup, comes with bolts and everything. And then for the rear of the Corvette, I also have the lockouts from FDF, and it's just basically a square washer so that the eccentrics don't move it around. So what I'm talking about with the eccentrics is this is an eccentric washer bolt, has it on the front and the rear, and this is how you adjust the toe. So this one's already loose, and when you move it, it moves the whole entire control arm in and out depending on where that eccentric is located. So it gives you a lot of adjustment. This is the whole way out. So you can see, have the bushing pretty much right on the outside of it. And that'll give you a little bit more toe, or less toe, I guess. And then when you move it in, it does the opposite thing, obviously. But these chassis are known to have these get a little bit loose, and then your alignment will be a little bit off, especially with drifting. So what guys do is they get the eccentric lockout kit, like I did with Part Shop Max or FDF. If you are getting adjustable control arms, you can just get the fixed lockout kit versus the adjustable one. The adjustable ones you can use, but they're a little bit of a pain because you have to take the whole thing out to adjust it to the right location that you want. So that's something to keep in mind. Bolts out of the control arm in the front and the rear. Got the coilover loosened up, and this thing's drooping now. So now we're gonna take the lower ball joint out, which is a 6 Allen key on the center to keep the ball joint from spinning, and then it's a 21 socket. As you can see, the aftermarket one, I guess it's not super easy to tell. The aftermarket one's a little bit longer. Yeah, and we'll be able to crank that out a little bit more with those bolts on the backside. But yeah, that's kind of to show you the amount of space that you gain. I would say probably a good 3 inches, 4 inches maybe. The wheel for factory offset was hitting there. So that's what you get when you don't run spacers. And then I think it was hitting, yeah, it was hitting on the front side here a little bit too. You can see right below the sway bar mount. So these control arms will fix both of those issues very nicely. So that's kind of why when you're drifting you kind of have to use spacers, because the spacer, which I'm using a 2-inch, obviously pushes it out more, and then from it being pushed out, when the wheel turns in, the barrel isn't hitting, because you gained, I mean, you're rubbing here, you gained 2 inches pretty much right there in theory. So like I said, the spacers are also nice for more stability in the front end. I think that's the biggest thing I found with running spacers on the front, was that it just gave you a lot more control and stability as far as steering and counter steering and whatnot. So got this guy set up, gonna mount it up and see how she looks. Look at this. I'll make these clearances tight. Goodness. This is better than being loose. Jeez. Alright, so I have this set up like this, so when it's in like that, it'll be pushing the control arm out more than factory, I guess. And I didn't have it at the max setting. Max would be putting it like that, because obviously it moves it out about a 1/4 inch more. But we're not going to go too crazy, being as it is still a street car. And I like that it's a street car. Alright. So now as you can see, obviously these aren't eccentric washers around here, so it's not going to move anything. But even if the bolt does come loose, it's not going to move the control arm in and out like the factory setup was. So that's basically all they do. But makes a big difference, especially if you're constantly needing to bolt check the car and whatnot. It's much easier. Come on now. It lets us. Alright, much easier that way. So we're trying to get this as close as possible, front to back, so we don't have any crazy toe, and we can actually drive it to the alignment shop. So what I'm doing here is I'm honestly just lining it up with my eye on the distance from the cradle, which I think is a little off in the back. This is definitely not how you line stuff, but it's how I will be doing it for now. Alright, it's tight. We pop this in the lower ball joint on the knuckle. Oh goodness, it's far. I'm honestly not sure exactly what this changes besides the strut location, but I'm just leaving it at the furthest inward position. So I had to move the lower coilover mount because it's a Heim joint, so it wasn't rotating where I needed it to be. Put these guys on. Alright, so there you have it. Give it more or less toe. Get some upper spacers if we really need to bring the top out, but this, just from eyeballing it, looks like quite a bit of camber. So now move to the intermediate setting to party. Since this had dirt in it, I'm just gonna run it in by hand because if it starts getting tight for a stupid reason, then we're not stripping the threads out. We got some Loctite on there already. Slide this nut in there. So you can kind of see here, one of the issues I was having was the tire was wearing a lot more on the inside because there was riding mostly on there, and then when I would turn and I'd be in drift, because of the camber that it was set at stock settings, it would just chew away at the tire because it would be tilted at such a hard angle. They would just be eating away at this. So there's a bunch of little like shavings and stuff just kind of hanging, and that was more or less just killing the very inside and the very outside of the tire. So it wasn't getting anywhere on the very center, and also it was giving me less grip, even though these are really sticky and they did fine. We want to dial it in. So with the new control arms, we'll have the adjustability to get that flat while in drift for the lead tire, and the trailing tire will, not sure what they're supposed to be adjusted to, but I'll pick some guys' brains and see where we're supposed to be set at. But that's pretty much showing you why you need front control arms and camber and caster adjustment and why that's important. Alright, so it's sitting right now with the suspension drooped. We're sitting at -4 degrees of camber. Kind of want that closer to 6.5. So we're gonna dial the control arms out just a little bit more to get a little bit more camber. Alright, so we got the arm in, gave it a little bit more camber. It wasn't quite even close really to what I wanted. Got this mounted up properly. I was having issues with the strut hitting the bolts there, but ended up just flipping them around because they were upside down. So that's all in, everything's tight, got it on a moderate set or intermediate setting. There you go here, everything's tightened in the front. One thing that I didn't really think about, or mention I should say, so for the brake line, there's really a couple options you can do. You can disconnect it from the factory mount on the body. Some guys just leave it like that and then it's just kind of hanging there. Depends on what you like to do. And then they also make extended brake lines, which I'm going to see if I can order some and have them in by next weekend. But we might just have to disconnect them from the mounting location for now. So something to keep in mind. Don't overlook that, because that could be serious issues if you come out to lock way too hard and it pulls real hard and then snaps it. You could have some major issues there. One note to keep in mind when you're doing this kit with the arms, the added camber will move the hub out, obviously, but then you also have to lengthen your tie rod end, which with the Mini Mantis kit, it comes with this adjustable adapter, more or less, that lengthens it for the Mantis kit. But you're gonna have to turn this out quite a bit, because right now the wheel is completely straight, and as you can tell, it's like turned. Kind of hard to tell. But yeah, the wheel is basically turned like I'd say a good like 30 degrees or so. And that's how it was on the other side, which I already adjusted. But yeah, you will have to turn this out quite a bit to get your wheel straight again. Car is done from last event. It's pretty filthy. It always gets really dirty, black cars, I guess. This thing does phenomenal with the added angle up front, as well as the camber. It just handles and responds so much better than what it did with just the mini kit. So it gave me a ton more angle that I was able to correct my line or get it out just a little bit further. And then if I was going a little bit too hot, I would just scrub a little bit of speed by turning it harder. So it was a lot more fun. I get a little bit closer without worrying about spinning out or running into somebody or whatever. It blows my mind how much more angle it has with just the front control arms added on and the pickup point moved a little bit on the mini kit. I would 100% recommend it. The arms are fully adjustable. You can set it up to, I think, almost 0 degrees of camber. I'm not exactly sure. But it just gives you so much more angle to be able to slide with and throw it in harder. It's, yeah, fantastic car. It's really stable. It's very streetable. No issues there. 110% recommend it.